Manchester United vs Liverpool, a tactical preview, how Solskjaer can save his job. In this video I'll be analysing how I think Solskjaer should set up his side tactically versus Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool in what could be the game that saves his Manchester United career. And at the end of the video I'll give my prediction for this game and whether Solskjaer will adapt his system at all. So keep watching till the end for that. But before this video starts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notified when we upload a video. Also check out some of our previous uploads, including our video suggesting 3 realistic central midfield targets for Manchester United to sign in January, and our video analysing how Diego Simeone is tactically reinventing Atletico Madrid. Both videos will be linked in the eye above and in the description below. Solskjaer's Manchester United side seem to be on their knees already at this early stage of the season, being just 2 points above the relegation zone, whilst Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool are beginning to sprint away from the chasing pack with their 8-point lead over United's noisy neighbours. But what tactical alterations can Solskjaer make to potentially turn the corner, save his United career and halt Liverpool's title charge? Well, the first and fundamental tactical alteration that I would suggest is to abandon the 4-2-3-1 in favour of a 5-3-2. The reason for this is because if Solskjaer were to set up his side in a 4-2-3-1, which would turn into a 4-4-2 out of possession, then this would play right into Liverpool's hands. Liverpool's main attacking pattern is to push the fullbacks forward at the same time, have the wide central midfielders drop deep and wide to cover this space, and have the front three positioned narrow and high up the pitch. Playing a back four would cause the United fullbacks, likely Ashley Young and Diego Dalot, to be caught in a dilemma whether to move out to pressurise the fullbacks and close down their space, thereby creating a bigger space between them and their centre-back for Mane and Salah to move into, or to stay tight next to their centre-back, close off the space for the wide forwards, but in doing so give Robertson and Arnold space and time, which could be dangerous due to their crossing ability. Playing 5 at the back would reduce the burden, as with 3 centre-backs or wing-backs could move out to Robertson and Arnold without leaving as big a space for Mane and Salah. The 2 wide centre-backs, who would be Tuanzebe and Lindelof for me, would stay tight on Mane and Salah when the ball moves out wide, whilst Maguire would sit centrally as a free man, ready to deal with aerial balls into the box. The other problem with playing a back 4 is that the wide players, likely to be Pereira and Daniel James, are forced to follow their fullbacks into deep positions. This effectively creates a massive space either side of the midfield double pivot for the likes of Henderson and Wijnaldum to move into. Firmino playing as a false 9 is also an issue, as the centre-backs cannot follow him when he drops into deep positions, as this would leave Salah or Mane space inside of the fullback. In the 4-2-3-1 there is also no deep-lying central midfielder to cut out the passing lane into Firmino, and with McTominay and Fred being forced to cover the space left by the wide players tracking back, the space for the Brazilian becomes a serious issue. However, the midfield 3 should negate this problem, as when the wide central midfielders Pereira and Fred in my team selection move out to cover the half spaces where Henderson and Wijnaldum and Mane would likely move into, McTominay, who would be the deep lying single pivot, can adjust his position accordingly to pick up Firmino or cut off the passing lane into the forward line. The reason why I would suggest using McTominay as a single pivot rather than the other 2 is because he is the most positionally aware, which is vital when playing the deepest central midfield role, as not cutting out the passing channels would give Liverpool easy access to transition their attack into Mane, Salah or Firmino's feet. Pereira and Fred are also not great defensively in terms of making tackles and breaking up the play, but are pretty good runners, so having them play the wide central midfield role suits their attributes. At wing back I think Oli should play Dalot on the right, as he doesn't have any other option really with Bissaka injured, and on the left I'd suggest using Daniel James as Shaw is injured, and the only other option is Ashley Young, which for offensive reasons, which I will come to in a minute, is not really a great option. In terms of their pressing style, United need to vary this. At certain points in the game, maybe for 5-minute intervals, they can look to press Liverpool aggressively from their build-up, by having the 2 forwards press the centre-backs, have McTominay push up onto Fabinho, with Fred, Pereira pushing up onto Wijnaldum and Henderson. Obviously, with McTominay pushing forward, space will be left in behind United's midfield, but I would instruct Maguire to follow Firmino when he drops deep, up until the point when he drops deep into central midfield. This is effectively making Maguire an anchor man in midfield, sitting in front of the back line, stopping space between the lines developing for Firmino to move into. This should force Liverpool to either play lofted passes out to the fullbacks, which will trigger a press from Dalot and James, or into long balls up the pitch, which should enable United to win the ball back in their defensive third. In possession, the 5-3-2 would also give United a greater ability to transition the ball into the final third, which has been the main area that they've been lacking in this season. This is because in the 4-2-3-1, the double pivot of Fred and McTominay both sit so deep that it becomes easy for the opposition midfield to sit back and cut off passing lanes into the centre forward and central attacking midfielder. With the fullback sitting relatively deep as well, the opposition midfield is not forced to drop back with forward runners, making it easy for them to maintain their shape and assert a high press onto United's deep block. If Solskjaer were to use a 4-2-3-1 versus Liverpool, Klopp's side, who play a high narrow 4-3-3 system, would use a trigger press when the ball went into the midfield too or out wide to Ashley Young, all of who rarely receive the ball in their back foot, take too many touches on the ball and invite pressure. Playing a 5-3-2 however would enable Solskjaer's side to transition into a 3-1-4-2 in possession, take Ashley Young out of the side and have Daniel James offering the sole advanced width on the left, whilst Diego Dalot did the same on the right. This advanced width will allow United to exploit the space wide of Liverpool's narrow front six. The back three would have more width than the back two, making it harder for Liverpool's front three to assert a high press, with the wide centre backs being able to move out with the ball and push the attack forward. I would also ditch the double pivot in midfield, only playing McTominay in that position, with Pereira and Fred taking up more advanced wider positions, which would force Liverpool's wide central midfielders deeper and thus make it harder for Liverpool to use an aggressive press without leaving players free in behind the midfield. Liverpool are at their most defensively vulnerable when the opposition break through their forward line's press and manage to switch the ball from one flank to the other quickly. This is because in Klopp's 4-3-3, Salah and Mane, the wide forwards, don't defend as conventional wide players, tracking back to create a midfield five. Instead, they maintain their high, narrow positions, which does leave a lot of space on the flanks. Napoli were able to exploit this by moving the ball from flank to flank through a transition player in the middle, who's usually Mertens, who could switch the attack quickly and set up a dangerous one-on-one against Arnold, or play a through ball diagonally in behind the right back. United should adapt their system to get Rashford on the left versus Alexander Arnold, as back in the 2017-18 season, Rashford playing as an inside forward on the left, making diagonal runs in behind the Liverpool fullback did cause him all sorts of problems, and if United can look to play direct through balls over the top of Trent, then this could give Rashford some joy. Even though Solskjaer has been favouring a one-striker system with Mata playing as a number 10 in behind, I would use Rashford and Greenwood as a front two, with Greenwood on the right side, as he is the side's best finisher at the moment and offers more pace, flair and creativity than Mata ever could. I would use a front two because I think Liverpool are most defensively vulnerable when sides look to play in behind their fullbacks. This is because Robertson and Arnold don't get a lot of protection in those wide areas, so if United can get Greenwood and Rashford making runs in behind their fullbacks when Dalot or James receive the ball on the flanks, then this could be United's best way of getting in behind the Liverpool back line. Even still, this United side is decimated with injuries, with Pogba, Martial and Bissaka all out, which means even if United play a perfect game, it's hard to see how they can stop Liverpool's run of wins and even create anything of substance throughout the match. I doubt that Solskjaer will move away from his preferred 4-2-3-1, which is the main reason why I think that this could be embarrassing for United, and like in the David Moyes era, I think that Liverpool will get a comfortable win. And that is why my prediction is going to be a 2-0 Liverpool victory. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and check out some of our other videos that are up on the screen right now.